Next up, we have Sophia Delay. Sophia? Next up, we have
Daily only century was the essence for the essence was psychic comic or hashtag live and stream. I showed up late.
Thank you for having me. All of you will do. Dr. Alicia Brennan. I am the president and CEO of Star Limited, and I am programs representing the Denver Baptist Alliance. We're excited to see the City Council's recommendation to the mayor for $5.5 million to support comprehensive full-time programming of 1,000 members. Thank you for advocating to the mayor's office. It's a priority. We know that the mayor's office countered with $1.5 million back to City Council that language is shifted from comprehensive out of school time. Excuse me, comprehensive out of school time for elementary school to increasing programs. While we believe that every young person in Denver deserves to thrive, we also believe that language focus becomes general and the impact is effective. Comprehensive out of school time has been proven to positively impact youth academic, social, emotional outcomes for families. While we are working on finding sustainable funds for our programs, the $1.5 million counter will be essential for bridging the gap for for nonprofits. We understand that all the critical work that needs to be done in the city to make it the best place to raise a family. With this being said, don't invest in other today. My ask is for you all to consider countering back to the mayor's office specific language to ensure that comprehensive out of school time programming is staying in place. We know that it's easy to get caught up in the semantics of this time.
Thank you. Next up, we have Isaiah Cabral.
Good evening, councilors. Thank you for letting me comment today. My name is Isaiah Jerome. I'm the organizer of Colorado People Alliance. Colorado People Alliance is a membership-based, 300+ people-based organization that focuses on building power in communities to address economic, immigrant, and climate justice. Over the last year, I've worked closely with the Guarantee Coalition and have heard transformation stories of how people's lives have changed and been impacted by this program. I believe all people in the Denver metro community have a right not to survive, not to survive in our community. And COVID has worked on raising the minimum wage, workers' rights, and making sure that we can all afford to live and work in our city. I myself grew up in Denver, Colorado. My communities faced financial insecurity. It was difficult to comprehend how deeply the issue of economic insecurity affected my family. I'm here because I see the importance of no cash funding. I know that my community will be able to get medical bills, access stability, and be able to have more vertical opportunities if this program can continue. I wish this program could be available to everyone. The Guaranteed Income supports those who identify being houseless, and we know that 90% of individuals without a home can get somewhere. This program will continue economic growth and stability in the general Denver area and will help community members be able to be stable. We know that the Guaranteed Income program has reached over 800 people, and 45% of those individuals have found stable housing, while 40% or more have identified self-identified disability. We know that full-time jobs are not allowing people to thrive in Denver. We know that 40 to 60% of individuals who are experiencing homelessness have full-time jobs nationwide. Colorado People's Alliance is committed to working on these issues that our members care about, and they're wrong asking us to support this program, which is not yet reflected in the city budget. Unfortunately, Mayor Johnson has not prioritized the support program. We need $2.5 million for a new cohort, and we hope that you support the existence of this guaranteed income program in the city of Denver. With the last minute, I'd like to say 99.9% of people here are going to see a homeless person outside today. And I think that just one program, 2.5 for a new cohort, can change many lives. I know that most of us here have the time and resources to be here tonight, but I'm sure this room will be packed if we want other people outside this building to be here as well. I ask all of you guys to very carefully think about this program and the importance of it, not just for us, but for the community and the future of our community, the future of Denver, Colorado. And with that being said, if anybody has any questions, my email is Thank you, everybody. Have a nice day.
Next up, we have Keith Meyer.
Great, well, thank you. Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Keith Meyer, and I live in Swamp Lake neighborhood. I've been involved with neighborhood organizing, building connected communities here in Denver for over 10 years. I'm just here to voice my frustration about the lack of community notification, and the lack of really concern for resident input in the upcoming 2024 tax amendment bill. Residents were given no notice by CP on a very significant zoning change regarding changes to Prairie Valley. Informing residents really dispelled basically concerned neighbors who just happened to receive notice by our council, which we really appreciate. The zoning administrator admitted during the recent hearing last week of not giving the residents or parties the proper notice on changes coming up. So most of the neighbors that I had in my community were full-time jobs, parents, super Spanish only speakers, and even learning and navigating the process of trying to get communication in the city is an enormous challenge in such a short amount of time, 3 to 6 weeks. We organized ourselves, we tried to spend as many comments as we could, we passed out community surveys, 25 different church lots, all over the city. We got 70 responses that were collected from residents. We took this information, both of the zoning administrator and the planning board. The planning board spent all about 10 minutes discussing these and really kind of disregarded most of the concerns. I think, what we were most disappointed about was just that, residents understand the changing dynamics of the city. Or want to be part of that community conversation, not bystanders that we have to survive and simply watch the situation happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up, we have Diamond Sky. Chambers.
Hello, everyone. I'm Diamond. I work at the Central East Center. I'm representing a cohort of comprehensive organizations to kids in Denver. I want to say thank you for recommending the $5 million office for funding. I hope that you'll continue to help and support comprehensive office full-time programming through this process. The reason comprehensive programming is important is because we do wraparound programming that supports kind of like an additional parent in the household. Whenever the kids don't have school, we provide all the programming for the spring break, etc. If the kids miss school, or if they miss the school bus, we're there to ensure that they have safe transport to and from school. With this funding, $5 million will provide 720,000 hours of village cost after school summer programming, allowing families to work while their children are school. And these programs do offer academic support, social emotional learning, life skills, and just a variety of different programming for the kids in a way that they can feel safe physically and emotionally. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Curtis Bryant virtually. No, Curtis?
He said he got logged off and he can't get back on.
Yeah, I called his baby, so I realized 2 calls at a time. Colleen, in the chambers?
Hey, my name is Gad Ali. First, following some of the Netanyahu, because today is his birthday, and fuck his family, their loved ones, and I hope they don't go through the worst type of torture even more than the Holocaust, what they had done to the Palestinian people. The months of October and November holds cultural, spiritual, and symbolic significance to the Palestinian citizens. The reason behind the connection is that the Palestinian is closely linked to the olive tree, and which dates back thousands of years, and it symbolizes his roots in his land and peace and security. Olive trees cover more than 575,000 tons of Palestinian lands, which equals to 140,000 acres and represents 85% of garden trees. And produce about 33,000 tons in a good year and 7,000 tons of olive oil in bad years. The months of farms of olives. You see families with their kids picking olives from the trees and enjoying their times. But since 1967, the occupation has started invading and destroying around 800,000 olive trees through uprooting and burning and even devising more extreme methods by flooding the trees with wastewater, spraying toxic materials on the roots of olive trees, which led to their complete destruction, planting mines and planted iron bars in Palestinian lands to damage the wheels of vehicle and agricultural tractors. In addition to the restrictions farmers face due to the settlements, about 90 Palestinian communities own lands located near to 56 settlements out of 350 occupation settlements on occupied Palestinian land, including the West Bank and East Jerusalem outposts. And dozens of
Oh, yeah.
outposts
Hello.
or close to them. And many farmers cannot access their
Negative
land as a
YouTube.
result
Hello.
of restrictions and criminal measures of the occupation authorities that aim to restrict Palestinian farmers and turn these lands into wastelands that their owners cannot cultivate in preparation for installing them. Tens of thousands of acres planted in olives are where they and their owners are exposed to the most severe types of attacks and destruction. With farmers losing an average of $45 million annually. And last but not least, ceasefire and the aid to Israel.
Thank you. Next up, we have Elise Gonzalez and Chambers.
Good afternoon, City Council members. My name is Luis Gonzalez. I've been working as a janitor at the Denver International Airport for nearly 30 years. That time is seeing how hard work goes into keeping this place running smoothly. We're not 64 hours day in and day out, making sure that the airport stays clean and safe for travelers. We take pride in what we do because we care about the community. But despite all the hard work, it gets harder to make ends meet. Make us, myself included, hard to work to just to get by. We don't get days off because we can afford to get groceries, rent, gas, everything costs much more, but our pay has kept up. Some of the co-workers are even working side jobs, restaurants, just so they can eat. On top of that, the healthcare we have is unaffordable. We may have insurance, but costs are so high that goes to the doctor or hospitals and food is in debt. We personally have to take loans just to cover expenses and put in needs debt in years. We are not asking for much, just for fair wages and healthcare that doesn't drive us deep in financial trouble. We can lead with dignity to take care of our families without worrying about whether we pay for rent or medical. That's why I'm here today to ask you for your support and stand with us as fighting for the respect and family fitness that even work in this community deserve. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Teresa Mullins and Chambers. Teresa? Mullins? No. Work, breathe, fun. Sideways.
Good afternoon, City Council members. My name is Bertano, and I have worked as a janitor at the airport for 20 years. I am also part of the bargaining committee in our flagship. Over the years, I have seen how the economy has changed, and right now, things are true for workers like me. Rents are higher, prices more expensive, and we work incredibly hard legislation, the increase in passengers, we are the second easiest state in the world. Every day we face a major enforcement. We work during all the holidays, and the airport expansion has made our workload members of the job is easy. We clean bathrooms, handle biohazards, and please expose sickness, but we do not have a whole insurance. One of us gets sick, can afford to pay the medical bills. This is not just affecting me, it's affecting my family. Some of us have gone to the doctor and come out with the bills of thousands of dollars. Even for single visits, those our insurance has not. It's keeping us in debt, and it's unfair that we should have take care of our health and bills. We work hard to keep this airport running, but we need better retain our frivolous care to survive. Our contract has expired and we are hoping to reach fair agreement. We ask for your support as we fight for the
Thank you. Next up, we have either Emma or Anna Carter in the council chambers. No? Debbie, Ivy, David, in the council chambers? No?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Hi everyone, my name is David Lee. I want to speak about the ceasefire resolution in Palestine. It's been over 1 year since the world has survived as Israel faces onslaught of guerrilla violence on its side. The U.S. government has spent over $17.9 billion in aid. They're seeing people burn their lives, touch their IVs, possible turns their parents, lifting up their babies, lifting life into their arms. Just general ruthless violence against the Palestinian people doesn't make you think Israel must be stopped. But just think about all the good was $17.9 billion done if it was used for the good of the community. The average American is struggling to make it on the day-to-day. Our hard-earned money is being sent overseas to decimate people. It's used to support and fuel the ethnic cleansing that Israel is committed to. So many families displaced, separated, injured, and dead. It is for the good of everyone to support a ceasefire resolution now. As of March 2024, resolutions have passed in over 100 localities, including Atlanta, Chicago, Detroit, Seattle, San Francisco, and many others. In Colorado, there's also language groups, so there's no real excuse to say that it's not something worthy of doing. I also wanted to talk about Dr. Gabor Mate. He's actually a Holocaust survivor, and I wanted to read out a couple of his quotes just to put into perspective what's happening. And so he said that, quote, Israel does not want a just peace. Occupation and creeping annexation, and even blockade, destruction of olive groves, arbitrary imprisonment of thousands, torture, daily mutilation of civilians, house demolitions. These are not policies compatible with any desire for a just peace. The war veterans fought for Israel. I used to be in that same camp. I can understand after the words of the Nazi genocide and how he desperately wants protection. I can understand all of that, but none of these there are no two sides in terms of power and control. It is pretty straightforward. There was a land that the people lived in there, and other people wanted it. They took it over. We had to take it over, and they continued to discriminate against us, and dispose of that other people. And so with that, I'd
Thank you. Next up, we have Hannah Roberts in the chambers.
Everyone, here's the amplified calls from our community members for Denver to end aid to Israel and to reinvest that money into our communities, for accessible transportation and for workers. Here are some updates that community members got so that I can keep you in the loop and share some recent things that have gone on last week. October 14th, the UN Security Council expressed strong concern Monday as Israel has fired on the UN peacekeepers in southern Lebanon during intensified fighting, reiterating support for their role in supporting security in the region. October 15th, the Biden admin issued a demand for Israel to improve aid delivery to Palestine in 30 days. October 18th, the Times of Israel reported that 59-year-old Palestinian harvesting olives on the land was shot in the back and killed by an IDF soldier. October 19th, Israel bombed Gaza's Beit Lahiya, killing at least 87 people and wounding at least 40. October 20th, Oxfam reported that 4 water engineers working with the organization were killed in an Israeli attack on Eunice. The 4 workers were in a clearly marked vehicle on their way to help repair water infrastructure and have been coordinating improvements with the Israeli authorities, Oxfam said. The UN peacekeeping force in Lebanon has said that an Israeli army bulldozer demolished an observation tower on the perimeter fence of a UN position on Monday. October 21st, Muslim resident Ahmed County of Michigan removed from Kamala Harris rally under threat of arrest with no explanation or cause. CNN reported statements from Israeli soldiers, so there is no such thing as citizens, he said, referring to the ability of Hamas fighters to defend the civilians. This is terrorism. Thank you for listening to those news sources. I'd also like to emphasize that the students and community members who were arrested during the rioting campus Thank you.
Thank you. And our last public comment for today will be in Spencer on virtual. Catherine Fatima in the chambers. And this will be our last public comment. My name is Casey Fatima, and I would like to comment on the reclaim extension requested by Congress. Everyone in Denver knows that that's what's planning nature development plan. But very few people who know until the last few days since the council is voting today on rezoning the area and allowing limited pipe extension from the old city hall. Her conversation with Matt Maloney and PBS if approved, these changes would allow 50% more development in the area than would be allowed otherwise. The renderings on KSC's website, visionplan.walgreen.com, about 40 high-rise, 15 mid-rise, and 20 low-rise buildings, holding about 65 buildings. City planner Tony Lechuga has argued that the old city hall plan is obsolete. Reference page 72 of the downtown area plan amendment recommendations and strategies. We failed to mention that the first statement of the same section is acknowledge, preserve, or. Earlier today, I emailed all city council members photos I took from the convention center in the city. Convention center has recently undergone a $223 million expansion, which includes a new 80,000 square foot room with floor-to-ceiling windows and 40 doors and 20,000 square foot rooftop terrace with sweeping views of the road. That's their advertising. The photos were taken both inside the buildings and on the terraces. If the height section is allowed, the views from the convention center and the dam will be limited. This will affect revenues for the convention center as well as tourism dollars. Further revised municipal chapter 10 article 4, the purpose of the restriction of structures within areas necessary to preserve mountain views is to preserve and protect health, safety, and general welfare of the people of the city and their property there in the city. It's important to note that it states the people of the city, not just the people in the big plane or at the court. Developers, businesses, and residents are relied on the advice of previous city planners and on warnings in the account, such as myself, when making their investments will be adversely affected by this section. But most importantly, the unique beauty of Denver compromised forever, in addition to cost of 40 high-rise buildings, blocking the view of the mountains from various points in the city. Please consider your responsibility to your constituents when making your vote. Thank you. Thank you.
Fuck, honking, sports, entertainment.
We do not continue to any streamers in this meeting for any comments tonight. The next session will be held on Monday, October 28th, time and again at 5 p.m. on Thursday, October 24th. We look forward to hearing from you all again. Thank you for attending, and please stay with us to attend the Denver City Council. Thank you. Council will now convene from our early session. There is one item under unfinished business. Council Bill 1141, Bill for Mortgage, and Article 6 of Chapter 10 of the Revised Code to add an exemption to the whole city hall. Councilmember Flynn, can you please put Council Bill 1141 on the floor for final passage?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I move that Council Bill 24-1141 be placed upon final consideration and do pass.
It has been moved and seconded. Comments by members of council on Council Bill 1141. Councilmember Torres, want to say anything? Okay, Councilmember Hines. Yeah, thank you, Councilmember Hines.
Thank you, Madam President. I do have one question, perhaps for CBE. Question, as CBE comes to the plate, using a baseball reference, not a hockey or basketball or lacrosse reference. So we've been talking about the Old City Hall View Plane a fair amount. Where exactly does that view plane originate? Can you just talk a little bit more about the view plane itself, where it originates, and how view planes are being constructed?
Yeah, absolutely. So, my name is Tony Machuga. It's a good question. A lot of people speak probably don't know the question. So we believe that this has been and even use that is placed there. A camera can use there is a designated height that is stated. That height for this one is that no building taller than 5,250 feet elevation. And then the plane essentially gains up by allowing one additional foot of elevation every 6 feet.
So 5,215 feet, that's new to me. The way I had it conceived, I heard it described before was 6 feet above ground level. Is that, we doing some math there?
Yeah, we're doing some basic math there. The vertical says 5,000 feet. Measured elevation at origin, which is the Old City Hall, right? That is about 6 above that 5,000.
And which ordinance describes the 5,250 feet?
So that would be the one that is in, it's in Article 10, or sorry, Chapter 10, Article 4 of the Denver Revised Municipal Code. And it outlines that very specific 5,200 additional foot for 6.
Got it. Thank you, Madam President. I will, looks like there are others listening to you. I do want to look that up.
If you could just come back in the queue, because it's like, it's not a public hearing, so this is comments and questions. Councilmember Lynn.
I'm sorry, Councilman Torres, we got a somewhat out of line and our responsibility.
You got a last.
I have struggled with this issue, because I don't make any comments.
Yeah, this is comments and questions on the page.
We have so many view plans, and over time, things change. And I consider it very unfortunate that the old city hall view plan has changed, and in fact, basically doesn't even exist anymore, except in the code. Because when you stand at the Bell Park, you can't see that. And Tim, I prepared, I loaded this up in the public flyer for people to see. This is the first one. And let me pull up my version of it. On this, thank you for the zooming in. This is standing at Bell Park. You have a beautiful view of the market. And at the time when it was enacted in 1988, you could see the mountains. Today, the view plane goes outward along that red line along the bottom. That's the view plane. Where the yellow box is outside the view plane. And was specifically drawn in 1988 to not include the old Mile High Stadium. The old one that we got rid of in about 99, 2000. Because we didn't obviously get everything as problems, right? So we can't have the stadium in the way. And then in 1999, when the Broncos wanted to build a new football stadium, their plans intruded into that view plane that Tony just described. I don't know right how many feet it intruded, but let's just say that curving roof line that is symbolic of Mile High Stadium, or whatever it's called. I still call it Mile High. I still say Mile High. That it intrudes into view, and there had to be an exception, just like what we're considering tonight, to the old City Hall view plane. In fact, I was sitting over at that table where it's interesting, when I was a reporter for Economic News covering that night, I think it was October 1999. And the exception was approved for the Broncos to allow the Broncos Stadium to violate the view plane. And the vote was 9-2. And the two no votes were, one of them was my predecessor, Ted Hacker, and the other one was Councilman Dennis Gallagher, who represented the district that included the stadium. Since then, and this is the unfortunate fact of life that I deal with in my district, the federal government, and Fort Logan National Cemetery, you see Jerry Moran still here, he knows what I'm talking about. They don't have to follow our rules. The state government, represented by a revenue, and the federal government, VA, National Cemetery, they don't have to follow city zoning rules. They can put their driveways wherever they want. They can build the buildings as tall as they want. And that's what they did along Spear. So when you look at the view above that red line, that's the view plane. You can't see the mountains right now. In fact, those area buildings also obscure the view of Mile High Stadium, for which we gave an exemption to violate the view plane. The buildings to the right, under the yellow box, are outside the plans, they're not in that. So I asked myself the question, and this is a struggle I've been having. And thank you to the folks at 50 on our for hosting us to come up and take a view. Tony, could you put up the second JPEG of the view from the 25th floor in our space where we were hosted for a discussion? Former council president Ramon Martinez, who lives in that building, had joined us as council manager there. And I appreciate the time I took. Actually, that's my photo. Let me go over to that. So CPD was helpful to my request to extend that view plane. It ends at Federal Boulevard and show us how those buildings on Ball Arena lot would intrude into the view plane. And at least from the 25th floor, you still see it happen. Now, if you're on the 10th floor, you won't. But then I thought, well, here's what gave me heart the last couple of weeks. Is there a secondary public general benefit to having a view plane? Chris, you talked about this in our meeting. Is there a generalized public benefit in having building heights restricted within those wedges? I think we have a dozen or more, maybe 18 view planes around the city. And because they keep restrictions on buildings, say, do people in Sun Valley benefit secondarily from this view plane, even though they're not, if they can look north and they might be able to see Wall Street through this area where we suppress building heights. And with all the other view planes, the same would apply, all the triangles, Ruby Hill, which covers my district, Ruby Hill view plane. And so I asked our city attorneys, and their opinion to me was, whether it's not. While you may enjoy the fact that right now the Ball Arena parking lots all have tall buildings, and that's a secondary benefit. This old city hall view plane, you are not entitled to that. And I struggled with that because I thought, should there be? In this instance, though, the one other factor that doesn't apply to all the other view planes yet is that the view from Bell Park, Old City Hall, no longer exists. That view plane is obsolete. So if the primary benefit of the view plane is no longer justified, how can there be a secondary benefit? If there is a secondary benefit at all, does it solve when there is no other? There is no view from your point of origin. So how can you have a secondary benefit? Primary benefit as well. And so I struggled with that for quite some time, and I've come to the conclusion that I am going to vote yes to this section, with apologies to the late council members Gallagher and my terrible Ted Hackworth. That was a big thing. This was always told to Ted. But I will vote yes because of the fact that this view plane no longer exists. You stand at Bell Park and you see the building on the street. You're not going to see any mountains until you look north outside. I would have actually preferred that Tony, that CED Congressman to repeal the view plane. It no longer exists. But that's not what we're faced with here. We have guidance in the updated downtown area plan, and all those factors considered. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Smith. Councilman Torres.
Thank you so much, Madam President. And thank you, Councilman, for getting these photos created. I think they're pretty important and revealing, but I do want to constantly bring us back to this center around what it actually is protected in that. It's not because we face rezonings every week where somebody discusses how their view might be impacted from their porch, from a third-story patio, and we tell them on a regular basis that it's not protected. And I face that in my district on a regular basis. Of course, folks have a third-story patio, and that's why they paid $700,000 for their row home, only to end up having a 5-story apartment across the street, and they've lost their downtown view. And it happens on a regular basis, and it is important, like Council President Dowdell said in our first term, zoning is real, zoning really matters, and that's a lot of your life and your community in ways that you don't appreciate on the day-to-day. So I appreciate you going the extra mile on this. It was an initial recommendation to actually just get rid of the entire thing. And it wasn't something that I, as a because it is, I think, a dangerous thing to just start eliminating complaints. We don't know what our area campuses look like 3 generations from now. I cannot predict that. We are having this conversation because it is what it is right now, and a really substantial conversation has been taking place over the last 2 years about what happens with parking lots right now. And so it is a perfect storm of activity and dialogue that has been taking place over several years for why would this property get permission to use this speed lane? And it's been needed, it's been necessary to have some of that tool to drive that conversation. So I hope my colleagues will support this moving into the hearings tonight. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilmember Torres. Councilmember Travis.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, Mr. Machuga, for the answer 1059.5 B. So as I define it specifically, I thank you for phrasing it the way that it is written in the code. I know that you're trying to change code so that it is approachable to the public, but I also was doing some research. Ms. Fatiga did mention that she couldn't find 6012. So I thought it was certainly a fair question. Did you know your thoughts? Okay, great. So also thanks to Councilmember Flynn for the comments about the legal definition and secondary benefits. I hope that my colleagues have seen the photos both that Ms. Fatiga took both from the museum and for the convention center. I think that Councilmember Flynn is on to something about the secondary benefits. I would say we want people who go to our convention center, to our art museum, want them to benefit from a fabulous view, just as they see the fabulous art in our art museum. And so that's something that weighs into my thought process. And also I think will saying yes to this immediately obscure views? No, it'll take some time. Maybe it sounds like, because the Cronky folks, thanks for taking the meeting on Thursday afternoon. Also, thank you to the residents of the team for being at that meeting as well. I think KSC had mentioned they might break ground in 2026. Probably on one building. They've also mentioned it's probably 25 to 30 project. So as we see the photos, thank you, Councilmember Friend, for putting them into the record. As we see those photos, it's not going to immediately be a million buildings that are theoretically. You could build a road that in actuality is not possible because of the way our zoning works. As you get taller, you have to get narrower, and as you get narrower, less of the view is obstructed, and eventually you just can't go beyond a certain height because of the zoning. So another thing is saying yes tonight in this vote won't totally obstruct either, as the image from Councilmember Flynn, the photo that he took and that Mr. Machuga edited, maybe with help, maybe phone frames, maybe did phone frames to help with that, the representation of a 300-foot tower. There, in that image, you could still see the base of the mountains. And then I think, what's better to look at? A bunch of parking lots or a bunch of activation? And I have thoughts about how this development will impact downtown. For another conversation next time. But do the owner views? I lived in condos and an apartment the entire nearly 20 years that I've lived in and twice I've had my view taken. And that makes it sound like something was an entitlement. I don't necessarily of it as an entitlement for me in my situation. But I also think I'd rather lose my view than have more people in tents in District 10. I know that we have a lot of hours in District 10. We don't have the major encampments anymore because of House 1000 and all in Mile High. They've gone to shelter. Either that they're shelter, not housing, but they're no longer in tents or even not in tents in Mass in District 10. We still have people who are unhoused in District 10, and I would much rather they have a roof over their head, housing, than for me. This is a part of my own calculus. For me to have those awesome views, but I don't own my view. And when I sold the condo in Uptown, I know one of my neighbors is here tonight. But when I sold my condo in Uptown, the person who bought my unit never knew it was a bad. I still sold it for more than 50% more than I bought it. But this building's in a different direction. The building was built before the viewpoint was even established. So that's something else that I think about. The view wasn't protected when the building was built, but it is theoretically now. That's what we have as a consideration is modifying that. My job is to represent all of District 10. I've certainly heard from Mineral Place. I've also heard from one person in another building that said they weren't sure their building was informed. So I have some concerns about making sure that people are heard. But I also, I think about those who are unhoused too, and those who live in Capitol and many other places. I used to represent Country Club, and I was astonished to see how many people were severely housing burdened living in Country Club. And that's because people left the nest and then came back, or people were married and then divorced, or they had jobs and they don't. So even in very well-established neighborhoods, there are people who are severely cost burdened. And so if this is a question of building 500 affordable units or 1,080 affordable units, or if it's a question of building 3,000 units total or 6,000 units total, we're becoming more and more the mile high income cities. The mile high income to live in the city, and that the lion's share of that is because of housing. So those are the things that I think of when I think of modifying a viewpoint. So thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman Hines. Councilwoman Sawyer.
Thanks, Madam President. This is a tough one I've been thinking a lot about. I appreciate what all of my fellow council members have said. And I said last week, I represent Cherry Creek West, right? The area that Cherry Creek West. And there is a view plane restriction on Cherry Creek West. The Grammar Park view plane restricts the height at which East West Partners can develop that land as a result of the Grammar Park. We are here tonight having this conversation because the city council before us once agreed to and voted to pierce this particular view plane to allow for Mile High Stadium, or whatever we call it now. I still call it Mile. So the question is, are we setting a precedent here? Right? This is, I understand that this view plane, this specific one, is defunct from Sugar. But allowing for a precedent where we are piercing a view plane, where in fact you do have a right to that view. It is in our zoning code. Unlike anywhere else in the city, view planes do reserve a right to a view. That is the purpose of them. And so I have to sit here and think, is it the right thing to do for generations ahead for us to be setting a precedent to pierce a view plane when we know many of us have view planes in our district, that if anyone came and wanted to pierce those view planes, people would lose their minds. And we're doing it under the guise of, well, this view plane doesn't It's defunct, it doesn't exist. And I don't think that that's fair to our residents or the future residents of the city and county. I think if we are going to set a precedent where we are not going to have a view plan because this view plan is defunct, we should hold the whole view. But to set the precedent where we are piercing view plan out of convenience because somebody really, really wants it to do what we'll see later tonight, may or may not be really good development, is not a precedent that I am willing to set. So I will be a no.
Thank you, Councilman Sawyer. In Northwest Denver District 1, I believe I have 4 or 5 things. So this conversation, I think I've been with the city for 12 years, I've studied zoning, and I've sat long and hard and thought about this. And I was a council aide when this neighborhood plan came through, the amendment to the downtown neighborhood plan. I remember sitting in those meetings with my predecessor, Councilman Espinosa, talking about this specific recommendation to pierce this specific need. And I remember meeting and talking to my predecessor, Councilman Espinosa, who was an architect, and I had him draw out a plan. I said, what would this look like? How much entitlement would this have? How much of the quality would actually be impacted by the big thing? To Councilmember Flynn, when the big thing was pierced, it was Council District 1. That was in my Council District. The one no vote for that was, it was a huge fight in Northwest Denver and Jefferson Park for the meeting to pierce. I specifically remember it with Charter Partner Community. And when I started working on this project, the Council of Torres, about 3 years ago, those I longer, she and I were approached to say, should we get rid of it? And in my opinion, that set a precedent to get rid of all. And so I fought to make sure that we had the recommendation to pierce the claim. It was already pierced money. Northwest Denver, my boundary was right along. I just call it the Bronco Stadium. That's the Bronco Stadium. And till this day, there's still a lot of impact from that conversation about the need. So I don't take this lightly, and I do agree with this section. Already pierced. I stood at the original point of where this claim looks at, and it is 75% taken up by the Raritan campus. It was in the neighborhood plan. I remember Councilman Espinosa and I went back and forth, like good council aides do. They push their council members to a little bit differently, what other comments are out there. And ultimately, that neighborhood plan was adopted 2 councils ago, and now we're implementing the plan that was adopted. And for me, as somebody who has studied a lot of land use, what good is a neighborhood plan if you're not implementing? And I'm tired of having us push our residents to be part of these neighborhood plans that don't get implemented. So tonight, I will also be supporting this language and this revision to the Denver Municipal Code to allow them to be pierced. And I just want to say, this redevelopment is predominantly in Council District 3. And it is going to be a lot in Council District 3. Council District 3 has seen a lot of redevelopment, and a lot of displacement, and a lot of gentrification. And I feel like it's what I was dealt with my whole life. Northwest Denver used to be 8% predominantly Latino, and now it has seen a lot of gentrification and a lot of displacement and a lot of development. And so however I can be helpful in trying to figure out how to protect that and how to get better outcomes, I'm going to. So in other parts of time, there's other pieces to this puzzle that will actually make the whole entire development a little bit more carefully those. But I just have to say thank you, Councilman Torres, for your steadfast leadership on this. Haven't been easy. I don't even know how to lead meetings together, and leading those meetings and having really tough conversations together of what are the benefits, what are we talking, what are the benefits, what are the burdens, neighborhood that you represent. So thank you for letting me be along in this journey with you and talking to you about the complaint, my opinion about the complaints, and for communicating about the complaint. how we can get better outcomes for the company that represent, we have better outcomes, I have better outcomes on this body. Madam Secretary, roll call on Council Bill 1149. Richards? Aye. Sweattick?
Aye.
Gilmore? Gonzalez Gutierrez? Aye. Hines? Barry?
Excuse me,
Romero Campbell?
I,
Sawyer? No. Torres? Aye. Watson?
Aye.
Madam President? Aye. Madam Secretary, please close the voting and announce the results. 1 day, 10 ayes. 10 ayes, Council Bill 1141 has passed. There are no proclamations being read this evening. We have 4 public hearings. For those participating in person, when called upon, please come to the podium. On the presentation monitor on the wall, you will see the time counting down. For those participating virtually, when called upon, please wait until our meeting host promotes you to speaker. When you are promoted, please accept the promotion, turn on your camera if you have one, and microphone. All speakers should begin their remarks by telling the council their names, cities of residence, and if they don't feel comfortable doing so, their home addresses. If you have time to answer questions on the stage, and your seats are available for questions of council. Speakers will have 3 minutes. There is no yielding of time. If time is 2, additional 3 minutes for your comments to be heard. Speakers must stay on topic of the hearing and must direct their comments to council as they may. Please refrain from profane or obscene speech and refrain from individual personal attacks. Councilmember Flynn, will you please put Council Bill 1140 on the floor for final passage, a bill for an ordinance to the zoning classification for 1,000 Traverse Circle and associated properties in the area.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I move that Council Bill 24-1140 be placed upon final consideration.
It has been moved and seconded. Sorry, I keep laughing. I look like Galvin. It's a long story. So if you hear me laughing, I can start laughing. Sorry. And then my microphone. Okay. The public hearing on Council Bill 1140 is a, sorry. May you please have this Dr. Ford?
Yeah, good evening, members of council, abundance of people here. My name is Tony Lechuga, again, I'm a senior city planner, community planning development. Right now I'm here to present the private property owner application to change the zoning classification at what we're calling 1,000 Traverse Circle and associated properties. So let's talk a little bit about what they're actually asking for. So this is that property. Most people are aware of is all arena and it's surrounding the parking. So the housing is prohibited. It's a large area. It's about 7 acres. 2 different zones. One, this is not a perfectly angled it's organized itself. What exactly was in the second, the rest of the property C. Largely are asking to request in order to meet our guidelines, remove this is a location, a property that's located in Council District 3, represented by Flores. And it is located right here in the middle of various neighborhoods. Its existing context is very diverse in the size of this particular property. That picture in the middle shows the majority of the property located vertically. You can see the arena itself in the background. What we know is the but if you see the property, it's important to note is Cherry Creek.
Excuse me.
at a time. It's Jesus South Platte River, it's Jesus Pier.
Yep.
We have some people in the overflow room, so as people are leaving, I'm letting other people in, so.
So this is a huge thing, huh?
Yeah. It's big. That's gonna go on for hours.
Yeah, I was wondering, so it's gonna go on for hours? Because this is Cronky Sports wanting to build high rises on their parking lot. So what will happen? Well, are they gonna put parking lots underneath?
I don't know. My guess is they're gonna have to build some taller.
Because, yeah, I mean, how will you go to the game? Because there's no parking around there. So if they just put like a giant parking lot underneath these giant high rises. But yeah, beautiful night.
Yeah, you do the same.
Hours. It's supposed to go on for hours, dude. You guys hear that? Hours? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh. Let's get the coat on. Oh my goodness. Alrighty, so yeah, that city council meeting is gonna go on for hours. We gotta work out in an hour to get our workout done for today. I was hoping we'd get called into work. We have not. And besides that, that's what we got going on. And then we're gonna play some Barony. Have a beautiful evening. That's the lady who always talking shit. Yep. Oh my god. Dude, this is going to go on until like 9 p.m., dude. We already ate some food before we came. I gobbled down some of my, the last of, what did I make? Oh, beans and chili again. I put too much water in the rice, not beans and chili, rice and chili. And yeah, hold on. No idea what happened right there. No idea how long I've been cut off. Fuck. Okay, so yeah. Recap real quick. That city council meeting is going to go on until 9 p.m. It's 6 p.m. At 7, I'm going to start my workout. I already ate. And yeah, we need to get home. Everything's predominantly cleaned up. Cleaned the bathroom. Trimmed down the mustache. Scrub the toilet. Yeah, the bathroom's clean. Laundry needs to be folded. And yeah, and we're going to give us an hour for our food to settle before we start working out and do our nightly workout. But yeah, this city council meeting is going to go on for hours. And my main thing is like, where the fuck is people going to park? Well, not my main, but my main inquiry into that new fancy, whatever the high-rise luxury housing, condos, whatever you want to call them, apartments. They're taking out the parking lot. So then where's everybody going to park for fucking Ball Arena, the concerts, the hockey Avs games, the basketball Nuggets games, everything that goes on in there. You know, there are 2 light rail stations right next to it, which is nice. But seriously, where's everybody going to park? All right, but yeah, I'm calling this. It is It's 611. You see that right there? I don't know how good you can see it. Here, let's go like this. That's a golden dome. That is encased in gold. Yeah. White privilege motherfuckers. All right. Peace. Love you.